Okay, this is CSIT 3330, Object-Oriented Programming. Let's see, we're in spring 2021. Time's flying. They were saying it's already 1 year since the coronavirus started. So I can't believe 1 year's already passed. But I've been doing virtual for a while. I don't see any problem with virtual lectures. I think I was doing them before COVID even started. So hopefully you have a good experience, even though this course will be online. Last semester, I got a lot of good reviews, even though the course was online. So I think, yeah, I think we'll have a good semester, even though COVID's happening and everything's going to be virtual. As you saw in my announcement, okay, the best way for courses to go down is for you to download the Zoom app. And the reason is because you'll have more functionality. If you're on the browser right now, that's okay. You know, it's almost the same, but for me, I experience a little bit of lag, and also I don't have as much functionality sharing screens, being able to chat, do all the different features. So definitely download the app. In addition, I recommend two monitors. In my classes, we do a lot of live coding. So if you have two monitors, you can watch me, you can code at the same time, and it'll just be a better experience. So that's definitely the way to go. If you don't have two monitors, that's okay. As you see here in the announcements, some students were using phones or tablets, or maybe they had two laptops, or maybe their parents had a laptop or a computer, and then they could have two. Um, who knows what device you use? But if you have two screens, you can watch me on one, and then you can code on the other. So that's definitely the way to go. Today, we probably won't hit too much code. We'll probably just look at a little bit of code. So if you don't have two monitors, that's all right. But definitely by Friday, you'll want to have it set up so you can start live coding with me. In fact, the best thing to do if you have two monitors and you're ready to go would be to open up Canvas and follow along, because a lot of stuff that I'm going to go over today will be on a quiz. I'm going to post that right after the lecture. We're going to have quiz one and challenge one. So a lot of this content that I'm talking about will be on the quiz. So it'd be a good idea to open up some notes and start taking some notes. Get used to taking notes. Get used to writing things down when I say this is going to be on a quiz. I've had students before, they literally write down everything I say is going to be on the quiz. They go and take the quiz. 80 to 90% of the quiz is already done. So that's definitely the best way to go. Okay, so now open up some notes. I'm going to go over the syllabus and just how the course is going to flow. So a lot of these questions are on quiz number one. I'm going to be releasing it after the class today. So let's open up the syllabus. If you have two monitors, open up the syllabus. If you don't have two monitors, that's okay. Still try to take some notes if possible. On one monitor, it might be a little bit hard. Lecture will be recorded, but it's better to follow along. That way you don't have to spend twice as much time. I had a student before, they just watched the recordings, but they also came to lecture. So I felt like that's a waste of time. Now, instead of 1 hour, you're spending 2 hours on every lecture. So it'd be better to just, in my opinion, it's a little bit hard to focus online. So it'd be better to just close all the apps, shut everything down, just have Zoom open, just have your coding open, just like you would in a regular lecture. If you do that, I think you'll do really well in the course. If you're distracted during the lecture, you got to go back and watch the videos, which is okay if you want to brush up on some small concepts. But if you got to spend twice as much time on everything, it's just not the way to go. Okay, here we go. CSIT 3330, again, object oriented programming. We're going to be focusing on abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance, a bunch of object oriented terms. But one really cool thing about this course is we're going to be building GUIs, UI development. We're going to look at APIs. So it's a pretty compact course, and we have a lot to cover. We're using JDK 8. Okay, a lot of students are surprised by this. We're on JDK 15, but JDK 8, NetBeans 8, and Scene Builder 2.0, they're just built for each other. It's all incorporated, all encapsulated, everything's ready to go. So that's why we're using these versions, which we'll look at here in a little bit. Again, this is an online course. It's synchronous on Zoom. So everything we do in the lecture, we're going to do here on Zoom. Okay, most students say that it feels the same to them. And one thing that students like is they like the chat feature. So if you ever have a question, just post it in the chat. I'm watching the chat as closely as I can while I'm teaching. And they actually like that better. Students felt that they could ask more questions, they could get more involved. So anytime you have a question, just ask it in the chat. Okay, we're Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 o'clock. We're on Canvas. I think everybody's on Canvas now. Final exam is online with a proctor. Okay, a lot of you are coming from 2830, or you may have taken another one of my courses. So you're used to this online with a proctor, but we'll talk about this more when the tests come. Definitely. If you want to ask questions with your mic, Austin, go ahead, unmute, ask your question. We can discuss, and then we can continue the lecture. Uh, so if you have a question in the chat, do it, or even if you want to unmute and ask a question, that's fine too. Prerequisites 2050. Okay, with a C minus or better. Some students don't have this prereq. I will generally work with students. If you go online and read my reviews, you'll see one of the number one things is that I try to work with students. So if you have a buddy who tried to get into this class who doesn't have the prereq, tell him to get a hold of me. We may be able to work something out. The prerequisite that I usually tell students is CS or IT 2830. That's my web development course. I usually recommend you take 2830, then 3330, then 4830. That's probably the best sequence. 2830, the content is a little bit easier, so you can kind of get used to how I teach and how my classes flow. And then if you come into 3330, it's a good transition in my opinion. But if you haven't taken 2830, that's okay. One of the big things I do recommend is not to take 3330 and 2830 at the same time. Both courses require a lot of effort. So if you're taking them both at the same time, some students tend to feel overwhelmed. So if you are taking 3330 and 2830 at the same time, maybe get a hold of me. We can talk about it and make sure that's right for you. Okay, I'm Professor Wergeles. My last name is a little bit hard to pronounce, Wergeles, but you'll get used to it. I'm in Laffrey. Okay, I'm over there in Laffrey, but with COVID, I'm actually all over the place. I haven't been in my office too much. So the best way to get a hold of me is the course email. Okay, I see a lot of students emailing me personally. I tend not to check that email as much. I tend to check the course email. So if you have any emails you want to get a hold of me or the TAs, then definitely send it to the course email. Okay, that'll be the best way. Okay, I do have office hours. We'll go over that here in a little bit. A little bit about myself. I've been doing computer science for almost 15 years now. I went to my undergrad at UCM, University of Central Missouri, and then I came to graduate school here at Mizzou. Right after my undergrad, my dad, he really wanted me to go to graduate school, and I really wanted to go out and get a job. I had a job lined up at AT&T for a large sum of money, so I was like really excited to go work. And my parents, they really wanted me to go to graduate school. So we butted heads for a while. I remember me and my dad got in some big arguments, and then finally they talked me into going to graduate school. Uh, every day in graduate school, I was so upset with my parents. I remember I was telling my dad, Dad, I just turned down a job that's making more money than you are. How stupid am I? So I was so upset. When I finished graduate school, it was one of the best decisions of my life. Every time I see my parents now, I always thank them for going to graduate school. And it just gave me so many more opportunities. I felt so much more confident with programming and computer science in general. So definitely that was one of the best decisions. After graduate school, I applied for big companies like at Google and Facebook. I did really good at Google, but I also got this teaching position here at Mizzou. And at the time, I asked my dad again. He said to take the teaching position because I'll have a lot of time. It's a good work-life balance. Well, when I took the teaching position, I had too much time. I wasn't doing hardly anything compared to what I'd be doing at Google. So then I started my own business. It's called Streamline Technology Company. So now I'm teaching. I have my own business. We're doing state contracts for the government. We're doing contracts with University of Missouri, University of Pittsburgh. There's so many contracts going on. I got so many projects. Now I don't have enough time, but it's a good balance for me, teaching and doing my business. That's what I enjoy doing. And yeah, so hopefully you feel comfortable with me being your professor and having enough industry knowledge. Okay, moving on. Challenge based learning is what I use in this course. We'll talk about it. Let's see. Let me go over to Canvas real quick. We should probably talk about it a little bit. I think there's a few quiz questions. Going back just a little bit, the location of the course is a quiz question. The time of the course is a quiz question. What else? That's probably it. Maybe prereq. Probably prereq is a quiz question. Let me come over here to challenge-based learning. Can you guys see my screen clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, challenge-based learning. So challenge-based learning basically is a way for me to try to give you challenges that will be like the real world. Okay, I mean we're still in an academic setting, so there's only so much I can do. But challenge-based learning, I'm trying to have code that looks like in the industry. I'm trying to give you examples, projects that would be something like you'd be doing for the industry. So you'll have a challenge. Okay, I'm going to try to get it as close to the industry as possible. There's going to be some performance criteria, so some performance support that's going to help you along the way. Okay, but there's also some criteria that you need to meet. But the important thing is there's not one solution. A lot of students say, well, what's the final solution? Well, there's hundreds of finals of solutions. There's so many ways that you can implement something. So there's not one solution. We mainly have some criteria that you need to meet. As long as you meet those criteria, you'll get full points. The number one thing that people miss is the reflection stage. After you've done the challenge, it's a good idea to go back and think about what you've learned. Say to yourself, what does Professor Wergeles want me to learn on this challenge? What's going to be on the exam? What's the most important part of the challenge? Okay, these are important things to reflect on after you meet the challenge. Usually students will just get done with the challenge, on to the next one. That's okay, but try to spend a little bit of time thinking about what we learned. Okay. Last is contribution. Usually you want to have some contribution either to society as a whole, like making an app, or contributions to the research community. Okay, this is all what's going to be in every single challenge. Definitely go back and read this PDF. Okay, teaching assistants. Let's talk about the TAs. I believe we finalized the office hours. So if you go over to my Canvas page, everything is here on modules. It should also be the home page. I believe I put the home page as the module page. This is where all my information is. So the first thing you're going to see is the syllabus. The next thing you're going to see is office hours and TA information. This is one of the most important pages so you can get help. Okay, here it is. You'll see there's 3 ways to get help. The first is the app. App is under construction right now, so kind of wait on the app. The second thing is email, office hours. Okay, those are the 3 ways to get a hold of us. That's a quiz question. There's a question on the quiz that says, there's only 2 ways to get a hold of Professor Wergeles. You're going to want to answer false. There's 3 ways to get a hold of Professor Wergeles. One of them that was not included was the app. 3 ways to get the app: either go on the web, iOS version, Android version. But wait a second on the app. We're making some updates. We're making some fixes. So just wait a little bit and I'll let you know when the app's ready. Office hours for me are Monday 3 to 4, Thursday at developer nights 5 to 6. We did it 6 last semester. We're moving up to 5. Okay, everything for me is on this Zoom link. Okay, so all my office hours, developer night, everything. It's this link. Let's see, TAs. Is Julin here?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Julin.
Okay, everyone. So, my name is Jinling Wang. So, you can call me Lin for short. And I will be the teacher assistant for this 3330 this semester. And I'm a PhD student in distributed and intelligent computing lab at the electrical engineering and computer science department. So my research interest includes the machine learning, deep learning, maybe artificial intelligence, and the computational biology, and some of the object detection. I also working on big data and the data analyze. So I have been used Java and Python for more than 10 years. And also I have been working as the teacher assistant for this class for a few semesters. So I'm kind of familiar with all of your assignments and the knowledge we teach in this class. So hope we can finish this course successfully together this semester. So my office hour is on Wednesday and Friday afternoon. So on Wednesday, my office hour is from uh, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. And on Friday, it's from 1 to 4 p.m. You can see my Zoom personal link information and my passcode information from the canvas. So hope we can work uh, together.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jalen. Usually we do a round of applause. You probably can't hear that. Kind of hard to do it virtually. You'll see two different links here, real quick, before Shin talks. Um, we did this because we wanted the office hours to be on the calendar. So if I come back over here on the calendar, so if you just click calendar over here on the left, you should see the lecture, office hours. I don't think I can put developer night on there, but you should see this here. So you'll see uh, Shin has an office hour tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and Julin has one somewhere on Friday. Okay, here's Julin's on Friday at 1 o'clock. So that's why we have the two separate links. That was the only way we could get it set up. But it's basically every Wednesday it's this link, every Friday it's this link. And you can find that in the calendar. Shin, are you here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Uh, okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Xin. I'm very glad to work and learn with you this semester. I'm a master student in computer science. Before being TA for this course, I was a part-time student employee in our campus IT department. So I use Java Vaadin to develop and upgrade some websites for our campus. So I'm kind of experienced in Java. For my personal academic research, I also do some projects which are using machine learning and deep learning. I'm really exciting about this semester being TAs. I think this class is interesting and challenging, and you should focus on challenges. Maybe sometimes they take some time. My advice is always to start doing challenges early. If you have any questions, you can send an email to us, and also can use app, and also we almost have office hours every day. So I will try my best to help you ease your learning process. Looking forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Shin. I can't hear that either. I used to do like a virtual clap, but my mic was cutting out, so you couldn't hear that either. Thank you very much, Shin. Now, what's cool about Shin's is his is from 2 to 4, so he has the same link. If it's the same time, you can have one link. So Shin's link will be the same every time as well. Julian's office hours are a little bit at different times, so we had to do two separate links for Julian. And these office hours are final at this time. They may alter slightly, but if they were ever to alter, I would definitely sound an announcement and let everybody know. Any questions for Julin or Shin before they leave? Okay. Anytime you have a question, let me know in the chat. I'm going to keep going. Coming back over here to the syllabus. Okay. Here's a quiz question. Okay. Getting help and assistance. How do you get help and assistance for this class? So all questions will be directed to the TAs. How do you do that? Usually in the email or the app. We're usually checking the app the most. And in addition, the app is a great way because we don't have to answer the same question over and over again. So if one student asks a question, all the students can see it. In addition, what's nice about the app is students can help other students. We'll talk more about the app when I get it all set up. But if you want to meet with me, usually you can do it at office hours. If you can't make the office hours, we can try to schedule an appointment. Basically, try to use the app. If you don't get help on the app, send an email. If you not getting a response on the email, come into office hours. Okay, usually the best way to get a hold of me is definitely office hours. Stop by 5 or 10 minutes. We can get it resolved, and then we can move on. Okay, now there's two questions there. You know, how to get help, but what's the official way to get a hold of me? Some students will email me on LinkedIn, and they'll say, Professor Horgley, I emailed you 2 months ago. And I said, well, I don't see any email. They say, yeah, I messaged you on LinkedIn. I said, well, I don't check LinkedIn. And then they're all upset that I didn't get their message. Or they'll message me on Canvas. That's one of the biggest ones because they'll see, oh, I can just email Professor Horgley. It's right here on Canvas. So they'll say, oh, I sent you a message on Canvas, or I put a comment on my submission. You haven't responded. I said, well, I don't check the comments. And then they're upset that I didn't get it. So the best way to get a hold of me or the TAs, or the official way, if you want to put it that way, is email or office hours. Okay, yeah, we're checking comments as best as we can. Yeah, I'm checking LinkedIn as best as I can. Whatever. But the official way is email or office hours. You can read the course goal. Okay, so that last one was a quiz question. You can read the course goal. We're building Java and JavaFX applications. We're going to be doing UML diagrams. We're using APIs, so we're going to make it as real world as possible. There's no textbook. This is a quiz question. No textbook is required. All resources are online. The best textbook for this course is going to be Oracle documentation. Okay, just straight from Oracle. So Oracle is the owner of Java at this time, and they're going to have the best docs. In fact, if you read the Oracle docs, you're going to have all the quiz questions. All my quiz questions come from Oracle. That's our textbook. Virtual lectures. Basically, the virtual lectures are in place of the real lectures. And what you should know is there'll be information there that's going to be on your quizzes or on your exams. If I make any videos, they'll also be on quizzes or exams. So any content that I post on the lecture, make sure you go over it, because any of that content is fair game for quiz questions and exams. So make sure you review all the content. Attendance is required. Okay, you're expected to attend these virtual lectures, and I'm going to collect attendance. I'm not doing it just quite yet, but here in a little bit, I'll post in the chat. I'll post attendance. Everybody types their name in pop print, and then I collect attendance and mark it. So it's your responsibility to notify me if you're going to be absent. Send an email to the course email, and then we'll say thank you for letting us know. That way we have a record of it. The professor, which is me, will be the one to determine whether you can make up missed work and whether you should be dropped from the course. Okay, if you're just missing course all the time, then why are you taking the course? If your grade's low, you're never showing up to the lectures, you're never coming to office hours, okay, then that is my prerogative. Uh, Notify before, get an email. Okay, announcements are very important for this class. That's probably the most important thing to be looking for. So what I recommend students do is to mark it in their email system. For me on Mac, on the mail app, I can put VIP. And when I get VIP emails, I get a certain notification and they move up to the top. So try to mark that announcement email as important. So whenever one comes through, you know to look at it. Okay, nice thing about announcements is you should see it on the Canvas page. So every time you log in, it should be up at the top. So if I come over here and click home, you should see, I guess I'm not in the student view, but in the student view, you should see like the last 3 announcements. Okay, here they are, recent announcements, and then all the modules. So you can look at them there or look at them at your email. Let's see. Missing announcement cannot be as an excuse. I may update a challenge. I may say, hey, there was a bug in the challenge. Here's the fix. And if you didn't catch that announcement, you implemented wrong, then that's your responsibility. Okay, so don't use that as an excuse later. I'm telling you now, check the announcements. If there's a fix to a quiz or a fix to a challenge, I post it. Again, I'm tracking attendance. So I'll try to do it at random times during the lectures. Ask to provide your name and pop print. Don't forget to sign in and then say, hey, Professor Orleys, I was there. Uh, go back and check the video or go back and look at the chat. I was there. I just forgot to sign in. If you forget to sign in once or twice or whatever, a certain number of times, it's not a big deal. If you got a doctor's appointment or you can't make one of the lectures, don't freak out about it. But you'll definitely want to sign in because attendance is rewarded. So if you come to lecture and you're getting involved with the class, then you will be rewarded. So usually it's in the form of bonus points. So the more lectures you come to, usually the more bonus points you'll get. But don't start doing false sign-ins. Don't have your buddy type your name for you. Don't log in for just 30 seconds and sign in and then bounce out. I mean, go ahead and attend the lecture. You can see here I'm already giving you answer to quizzes. So you might as well come to the lecture. You'll have 80% of the challenges and 80% of the quizzes done. So don't do false sign-ins. False sign-ins will be punished. I usually deduct points. Usually attendance will not hurt you. It will only help you. But if you're doing false sign-ins, there could be a potential for attendance to hurt your grade. Usually performance in courses, not only my own, is linked to not attending class. Okay, so attend class, you're going to do good. I don't think it's that simple, but attending lecture, you have a chance to do better. If you attend lecture, office hours, developer night, you're really involved, then the probability of you succeeding in the course is very high. Okay, expected work, participation. So let me go back just a little bit. Announcements are on the quiz. Attendance is on the quiz like it's required. Announcements are on the quiz that you can't miss them. If you do, you can't be used as an excuse. Tracked attendance is on the quiz that you'll need to sign in. And attendance is required. These are all quiz questions. Expected work is participation. That's the easiest thing to do in an online course, just to say, oh, I'm tired, I'm busy, I'm not going to show up today. I'll just watch the video later anyway. That's not a good attitude. Show up to class, ask questions, get involved. The more involved you are, the better, or I shouldn't say the better you're going to do, but I should say the higher the probability that you will succeed in the course. Okay, we have readings. So there are required readings and challenges, also quizzes. You'll see midterm exams with an S. We're going to talk about that in a second. Final project with no S. Final exams with an S. So if you've taken 2830, you probably already know. We'll get to that in a second. Here's a quiz question. All exams must be completed by the due date and time to receive credit without any deduction for lateness. So I do accept late work, but there's a penalty. Okay, we'll talk about the penalty in a second. Here's another question. You must fulfill the requirements of the assignment to receive credit for that assignment. For example, if I say naming the project as final project is an essential requirement, and for some reason you named it last project, you would receive a 0 on that assignment. Make sure you follow the instructions really carefully. I mean, double, triple check. You got to have the programmer's eye. So if there's a mistake in the assignment, let me know. You got to have the programmer's eye. Make sure you're paying attention to fine detail. That's very important. I'm doing this because you got to do that in the industry. If you miss one character in the code and you cause a bug at Google, then they're not going to be happy with you. If you do that a few times, you're not going to be around there anymore. So it's really important to pay attention to fine detail as a developer. If you're ever unsure of what you need to do, ask, send emails, get involved in the app, stop by office hours. Usually I see students who do the best in my courses, they're the ones coming to office hours all the time. They're the ones stopping by developer night. Those students tend to do well in my courses. Here's a quiz question. Late assignments will receive a 25 deduction per day. Yes, that's a big deduction. So assignments are due at 11:59:00 if you read the introduction. So if you turn it in at 12 o'clock, midnight, 25% deduction. If you wait another day, another 25%. If you wait another day, another 25%. After day 4, the score is gone. Okay, the score is gone. So you don't want to have any late work. Start early. Get involved in the office hours. Get this challenge done by Wednesday, Thursday. That way on Friday, you can come to office hours and just do a quick review. Okay, if you wait till Thursday, Friday to do the challenge, the probability of you succeeding drops significantly. Okay, now this is for quizzes. So this is a quiz question. This late policy is for challenges, quizzes, and the final projects. Exams cannot be submitted late. Okay, this is a quiz question. What cannot be submitted late? Exams. Here's another quiz question. You'll see there's a lot of quiz questions on the first one. All late work must be submitted on Canvas and regraded by reading day. Well, what do I mean by that? So let's say challenge 1, you submitted it late. Okay, you should let us know. Send an email, say, hey, I submitted this late. Please grade it. This regrading needs to be done by reading day. So you need to stay on top of it. It's not my responsibility to keep track of your late work. If you see 2 weeks have gone by and your challenge still hasn't been graded, send us another email. Say, hey, Professor Wergles, my grade hasn't been updated. What's going on? And I'll say, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to it in a little bit. 2 more weeks go by. Hey, Professor Wergles, what's going on? It's still not graded. Stay on top of your grade. Stay on top of your work. Okay, it's your grade. It's your responsibility. Make sure you stay on top of it. If you send an email every day, that's a little too much, but I would definitely check it once a week or once every other week. Okay, check your grades, make sure everything's good. After reading day, no grade changes will be permitted. So if you got late work that was never regraded and it's after reading day, that grade will stand as is. Let's see, reference policy. So there were 2 quiz questions there. Okay, 2 quiz questions there. 25% deduction. Sorry, 3. 25% deduction. What does a late policy apply to? And when does all late work need to be finished by? Okay, reference policy. I think there's a quiz question here too. Let's see. If you use code or resources that are not yours, either from online or other resources, then make sure you reference others' work. How do you reference? Put a comment in your submission, which is usually the code, with the sources that are usually URLs. Okay, if you use the textbook, well, then yes, reference the textbook. But most of the time you search Google, you get a URL, copy the URL, paste it in your code. In addition, make sure it's clear what's your work and what's not your work. I'm going to give an example of a good reference. I don't have that up yet. I did it in 2830 this semester. I gave them an example of a good reference. So I'll give you guys an example of how to reference the code. You put it at the top and you basically put a comment, start of reference here, end of reference here. You just have a comment in the code saying what's not yours. That way we know you're not cheating. So if you don't reference it, we have a program, okay? We run everybody's submission through this program. We check online resources. We check others in the class. We check previous semesters. If you cheat, we're going to know about it. But if you put the reference there, then it's okay. I want you to use references. I want you to use online code. If you're coming from 2050, 1050, they probably told you to build everything from scratch. That's not how we do things here. We want to be like the industry. So I want you to use APIs. I want you to use libraries. I want you to use online resources. Just make sure you reference them. That's the big thing for my course. You got to reference them. If you don't, it's cheating, and I got to report it. So please do not make me report you. I don't want to report anybody. Just put the reference there and you'll be fine. Let's see, categories and weights. We got to move because I want to show you how to install the system. You'll see 30, 10, midterm exam is 20, final exam is 20. So let's talk about these exams. They have two parts. Part one, I call it the practice exam. Students get that confused because then they think it's not part of the grade. I call it the practice exam because it's open book. It's unlimited time. So you can start it, you can pause, you can resume, come back later, and you have up until the due date and time. So it's not technically unlimited. It's unlimited until the due date. Okay? Now, part two is not. It's online with a proctor. You have a time limit. You got to do it in one sitting, just like a real exam. So if we were in class, you would have the online exam is what I call it, and then the in-class exam. So you come into the class, we're monitoring you, so forth and so on. That's the same as online. The only difference is the proctor will monitor you. Okay? The practice exam, there's no monitoring. It's open book. You can search online. The real exam is not. It's closed book, closed resources, timed, and with a proctor. Okay. A lot of students have questions about this. They start freaking out. This is not a bad thing. In fact, students come back to me later. They take 4830, and then they ask if we can do two exams. The reason is because it balances your grade. Most people do well on the practice. They get a 90 to 100. Most people do average on the real. So let's say you got 100 on the practice, you got a 70 or 80 on the real. That would average, if you do an 80, that would average to 90%. So it usually brings your grade up. And it also is so you can have a study guide. The practice exam is one of your best friends for the study guide. Here's my grading scale. It's a little bit different than others. To get an A plus in my course, you got to get a 98. I think the Mizzou is a 97. So my scale is a little bit different. Check it out. Grade disputes. Here's another quiz question. Okay, don't email us and say, hey, the TA's mad at me. I think they graded too harshly. That's not a grade dispute. A grade dispute is when you see there's a requirement, they took points off for the requirement, but you clearly implemented the requirement. Okay, so it's an honest mistake. If we made an honest mistake, send us an email and we'll take care of it. Okay, so to submit a grade dispute, send an email. Say, Professor Wergely's challenge 2, this TA took off 5 points. Go look on line 50, you'll see it's right there. Okay, and then I'll go look on line 50, say, yeah, TA made a mistake, give you your points back. Now, here's the thing, though. I don't want these piling up till the end of the semester. So you have 1 week. This is a quiz question. You have 1 week to dispute grades at any time. So 1 week is after the grades are released. So we post the grades. You have 1 week to dispute it. So as soon as the grades are posted, check your grades. Don't wait. And then reading day, you see you're right on the borderline. And then you want all these grade disputes fixed so you can bump your grade up. That's not going to work. When grades are released, check the grades. Any problems, dispute, stay on top of it. After 1 week, the dispute will not be accepted. You can still submit it. I recommend to still submit it. But usually after 1 week, we say it's past the deadline. We can't help. Let's see. Now, this 1 week time span is the amount of time the student has in order to submit the dispute, not the amount of time that it's going to be completed. It may take us a week or two. It may take us a month. I don't know. Depends how things go. But submit it in the week. We'll try to get it done in the same week. I would say usually it does take us maybe 2 weeks to get it done. Just make sure you stay on top of it. So again, 2 weeks go by, your dispute hasn't been fixed. Hey, Professor Wergles, what's going on with the dispute? 2 more weeks go by. Hey, Professor Wergles, what's going on with the dispute? Send us an email. Stay on top of it. One important thing to remember is just because you disputed doesn't mean you're going to get points back. Okay, so even though we may complete and resolve that grade dispute, doesn't mean you're always going to get points back. Usually it does, but some cases the TA was right. Just how it goes. Okay, dispute deadlines. Okay, I'm trying to go quick here. I really wanted to get over some coding. I may have to skip some of this, although there's more quiz questions coming up. Let me try to go quick here. Disputes, same thing, reading day. So if you don't stay on top of your dispute, now reading day comes and you forgot about it, then the grade stands as is. After reading day, we got a lot of stuff we need to do. We got to grade your final project. We got to grade the final exam. We don't have time to go back over challenge one. So that's why there's a deadline on regrading the disputes, not only submitting them, but regrading the disputes. It's reading day. Reading day is the big day. Reading day is when your final project is due. It's when all late work must be regraded and all disputes must be regraded by. So reading day is the big cutoff day for a lot of things for my course. After reading day, all you have is the final exam and the final project grades. So once those are released, you have 48 hours until grades are due. That's Sunday at 5 p.m. This is a quiz question. Okay, when's the last time you can change the final exam or final project grades? That is 48 hours until grades are due. Now, last semester it was COVID. Things were all over the place. We had to continue grading after the deadline. But usually this is the deadline. Sunday at 5 p.m., grades are done. They're fixed. I may do some bonus points for attendance. I may do some bonus points for the evaluations. But besides that, grades are done. Okay, after this date, no grade changes will be permitted for any assignment. And the original grade stands for all assignments. So this is the big cutoff, 48 hours before grades are due. Real quick, no special treatment. My biggest pet peeve is when students send me an email. They say, "Hey, Professor Wergles, I'm right at an 89.8. Can you just bump me up and give me an A minus?" No, I can't do that. Uh, that's not fair for the rest of the class. So please do not send me emails at the end of the semester asking to bump you up. I give out bonus points for attendance. I give out bonus points for the evaluations, which usually bump grades up. So if that bonus brought you almost to the next category and you want a little bit more bump, I can't really do anything. Okay? So once I add bonus, grades are final. Okay? Please do not send me an email. That's my biggest pet peeve. If I give out bonus points or bump grades up, I got to do it for the whole class. I can't do it at an individual basis. Again, Mizzou Developer Nights are on Thursdays at 5 o'clock this semester. We had a really good time last semester. I do it on Zoom. We do it in breakout rooms. If you want to form a small group and code together, you can. If you want to stay in the course group, you can. One professor recommended I do it on Discord this semester. I may give it a try. They said Discord was a little bit more powerful, and we can talk in between developer meetings. You can send messages and stuff. So I may give that a try. If you got a buddy or a friend who's not in the class who wants to come to developer nights, bring them. It's a social event. Sometimes we're just talking. Sometimes we're just hanging out, talking about games, talking about football or whatever. And sometimes we're working. You know, it's a relaxed event to help you to get to meet other developers and we'll try to have a little bit of fun. Let's see. Please use Discord. I'll take a look at it. I need to make sure we can have all the functionality, but I did hear some good things about it. Okay, I got to move on. There's still more quiz questions. Class recordings not allowed. There's a quiz question in there. Permission to use materials, but sharing of course materials is not allowed. This is a big thing here. Don't share your solutions. Don't pass them down after semester. Don't take course content and share it on the web, whatever. Uh, just do the right thing. That's what I tell students. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I also tell them, if you're cool with me, I'm going to be cool with you. Uh, there's a bunch here: misconduct, how to report problems with the class, students with disabilities, you got to send me your accommodations. Title IX, make sure you read this. Let me show you something real quick before we head out of here today. You need to set up your environment before the start of next class. That's the challenge 1. It's due Friday at 9:59:00. It's easy, but you got to get to it. Don't wait, because if you experience problems, then you're not going to get it done. So you need to set up the environment, because on Friday we're going to start coding. You need to install JDK 8, and it needs to be installed in this order. First, set up JDK 8. Yes, I know it's JDK 8. It's currently on JDK 15. There's good reasons to using JDK 8. We're running out of time. I'd love to go over why. Then install NetBeans 8.2. These versions are very important. If you install NetBeans 12, which is the current version, it's not going to work. If you install Scene Builder 1.0, it's not going to work. And you got to install it in this order: JDK 8, NetBeans 8.2, and then Scene Builder 2.0. If you get these 3 things installed, you'll be ready to go for Friday. Here's the links. So I have the links. Don't search on Google. You're going to get the wrong link. Click on my link. Here's JDK 8. Pick your operating system. Go through the installation process. Then come back here. Click on NetBeans 8.2. Don't search the web. You're going to get the wrong version. Use this link. Here's NetBeans 8.2. Click the all version. That's what I recommend. Download the all version. That way later you can use it for C or C++, PHP, and you would just have more functionality. Then when you're done with that, come back over here and make sure you get Scene Builder 2.0. I'm happy because they put 2.0 at the top. It used to be 1.0 at the top. So students would download 1.0 halfway through the semester, their environment wouldn't work. Now they put 2.0 at the top. I'm happy about that. So click your operating system, download the right version, good to go. Do not download 1. If you download Scene Builder 1, you'll have to reset this up halfway through the semester. Okay, so don't download version 1. I hear people leaving. That's not a good thing because they didn't get the attendance for today. You got to wait. Let me put this keyword attendance. And once you see the keyword attendance, then type your name and paw print so I can get you for the attendance today. Okay, I hear people leaving. They're not going to get the attendance. You see the keyword attendance. Now put your name and paw print in on the chat so I can get you for the attendance. We still have a lot to cover, but we got to move. We're going to start developing on Friday. So make sure you get your stuff set up.
Where do I find my paw print?
Good question. Paw print. It would be whatever you sign in. It would be your email, whatever your email address is. Your paw print's usually at the beginning. You probably also find it on MyZoo. If I stop sharing my screen, you can tell me.
I got it.
Okay. I was going to say you can tell me your name and I can look it up real quick. Let's see. Friday, we're hitting the ground running. We're going to start coding. Make sure you get this environment set up. Here in about maybe an hour or so, I'm going to get challenge 1 up, which is setting up the environment. Okay, it's installing JDK 8, NetBeans 8, Scene Builder 2.0. There's also a Hello World challenge I'm going to post tonight. It'll be due over the weekend on Sunday. It's just basically write a NetBeans program, print out some basic things, and then submit that on Canvas. So that's also pretty easy. Okay, but that'll be due on Sunday. Then on Sunday, I release the next challenge, which is 3, and then we're on our regular challenge schedule. So I forgot to talk about it, but you can see the challenge schedule over here. That's the next important thing. I have all the dates, when I'm going to post it, when it's due, when's the last day to submit, with a grade. To get a grade, you can still submit afterwards, but you won't get a grade. When's the grading going to be done? Last day to dispute. Okay, so this is my table of all the challenges. You see, I'm going to post 3 of them today. Challenge 1, quiz 1, and challenge 2. Okay, they're going to be due on Sunday. One of them's due on Friday. And I'm going to post the next ones this coming weekend. We'll start our regular schedule. I post challenges on Sunday. They're due on Friday. This that way that basically the whole semester. Okay, we're a little bit over on time. That's it for today. Thank you for joining. Next class, have 2 monitors set up. Get ready to get involved. Try to close the apps. Okay, try to close apps. Try to focus during these lectures. You'll get a lot of the quiz questions. You'll get a lot of the answers for the challenges. 2 monitors, it's important. Ask questions. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Rachel. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. Let's have a good semester. It's virtual, but we're going to have a good semester. Okay, we're going to have some fun at the developer nights. We're going to learn some code. We're going to learn how to be better programmers. And I look forward to working with every one of you.